G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin video. Short term for Bitcoin is boring, alright? We've spoken about it many times. We spoke about it yesterday, full market analysis yesterday. If you've got any queries, any questions, any thoughts about the short term, you want to see my thoughts about the short term and medium term, yesterday's video is the way you can go ahead and do that. I covered basically everything in the market, traditional markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, total cryptocurrency market cap, covered it all yesterday. So go ahead and check out yesterday's video. It's still entirely relevant. As of right now, we're in the same range. And so this video, I actually want to discuss the long-term price prediction for Bitcoin. We've gone over my long-term price prediction for Bitcoin before, but I'm going over it again today. And the reason I'm going over it again today is because I said many times during my last video where I discussed it, okay, that it becomes valid. It becomes a prediction rather than an observation once we get above 28.6k. We're not above that yet. It's not technically a prediction at this point. It's more of an observation. And you'll understand what it is in a second. It's based on a formula. So my price predictions for Bitcoin are based on formulas. And I've made a formula and I've connected it to the 4-year cycle theory. I've got the formula on the right hand side of the screen here. I'm going to explain it to you in a second. And I'm going to show you what that means. And I'm going to tell you why it's not valid until we get above 28.6k. So without further ado, let's get into it. So essentially, 4-year cycle on Bitcoin, everyone knows what it is by now. It's basically a date range trend on Bitcoin that stems all the way back here from 2012 from the first halving. It has 5 micro trends within the longer term trend. So it's not based on price points necessarily. It's based on dates. This formula is the first time we can technically make it based on price points because it's the first time that 3 occurrences have occurred in the cycle, right? We've seen 3 separate cycles. In order, mathematically speaking, statistically speaking, to see a trend, you need to see 3 separate occurrences of the same thing, and then you can identify it as an actual trend. Because if you just see 2 occurrences, then it is a coincidence. This is a major problem that lots of analysts have with their analysis. They don't understand that simple point. You need 3 occurrences of something for it to be a trend. 2 occurrences is a coincidence. So at this point in time, we have created a 4-year cycle trend. It is no longer a 4-year cycle theory. It is a trend because we've seen 3 separate cycles with 3 separate things playing out perfectly each time. However, as we have discussed before, it is my personal belief that Bitcoin is not out of the bear market, speaking from an objective standpoint. Now, I personally think that Bitcoin, the bottom is in, for example, but it's my opinion that Bitcoin's not out of a bear market until we break above 28.6k. I've spoken about this quite a lot in the past. 28.6k is the foundation of the 2021 bull market, the 2020 bull market. As you can see, we tested that area for support multiple times. We're yet to get above that yet. Once we get above that, I would see that as flipping the macro level. I would see this as bull market range, this is bear market range, and obviously when we get above 28.6k, we'll have broken above the bear market range, and we're back in that bullish zone. Therefore, at that point, I would say the bear market is over. Therefore, at that point, we will have seen 3 full occurrences of the 4-year cycle, and therefore, at that point, we can use the trend that I've created, the formula that I have created on the right-hand side of the screen, and make it a prediction rather than a speculative observation. So everything I say in this video is a speculative observation that assumes the bottom is in. It's very important to note. Now, obviously, I'm bringing you this video at this point in time because we're on the doorstep of 28.6k, and there is a considerable possibility that we get above 28.6k, in which case this formula will be valid as a prediction rather than an observation. So what is the formula? The formula is essentially this. We have taken data points, and you can just read on the screen here and probably understand it better than me speaking about it, but I have taken samples of data from select periods of time, for example, from bottom to halving. Okay, in 2016 and 2020, I've taken the percentage gain in both of those occurrences. I've given myself the average decrease. So, for example, it's not the average between 210% and 290%. Since we have diminishing returns, right, we'd have to assume it's going to be lower than that. So I've taken the percentage decrease between 290 and 210 and applied that to 210, and therefore seen that from the bottom to the halving in 2024, which means from the 15k bottom to the 2024 halving, we should see around a 153% gain on Bitcoin, which would bring us to a price of around 39,000 at the halving, which means that Bitcoin, based on this formula, at the halving next year in, I think, April or March, something like that, potentially maybe a little bit later, would be at around 39,000 USD. Now, this lines up pretty well with another chart we have right here, and this is the good thing about this formula. We can cross-check it with other formulas that we have, right? We can see that Bitcoin, actually, sorry, just typing random buttons here by accident. We can see that Bitcoin, right, generally has around 1,100 days between all-time highs. Now, the next all-time high on Bitcoin is due, as per this trend, in December 2024, and we've just seen from this formula that we would be at around 39k at around March or April that year, which leaves us around 8 months from March at 39k to get to 69k. So it's a realistic time period. Okay, so the point I'm making is that this formula, this first part that predicts 39k at the halving, lines up pretty well with the prediction of 69k at December. Okay, 8-month gap between 39k and 69k seems pretty reasonable. Doesn't seem too optimistic, doesn't seem too pessimistic. It seems quite right. So that's good to hear as well. So now that we have 39k at the halving, we can take measurements from previous cycles from halvings to tops, for example, and we can apply the percentage decreases from halving to tops, and we can see that speculating from the halving at 39k to the top in 2025, late 2025, the top should be October 2025, we would see a 384% gain, and so we can add 384% to 39k, and we can see that the top in 2025 should see around 189k. Now, this formula does take into account diminishing returns, okay? It does take into account diminishing returns. Everything about this formula takes into account diminishing returns. If you don't understand that, just read the formula on the screen right now and you'll be able to see it. So I don't want to see any comments saying, oh, but what about diminishing returns, Wolf? This takes into account diminishing returns. Without diminishing returns, it would be in the high 200k region. It is 190k taking into account diminishing returns. So with diminishing returns, we can expect 39k at the halving in, Q1, Q2 next year, whenever the halving is. And then we can expect in Q4 2025, a 189k Bitcoin, according to this formula, which is an observation at this point. But once we get above 28k, it will become a reality. So that's what we're looking for Bitcoin in the super long term. All right, I thought I would let you know now because, we're getting close. We're getting close to 28.6k. It's very much worth noting that this formula was made by myself. I made this formula myself. This whole variation of the 4-year cycle theory with all of the data points was made by myself as well. I've been one of the biggest proponents of the 4-year cycle theory throughout the entire span of my YouTube channel since mid-2021. I've been speaking about it a lot. It helped me predict the top in 2021 at 60, around that 60k region. We were able to call the top quite early, and it helped me predict the bottom here, saying the bottom was in 16k. So we've done pretty well based on the 4-year cycle, and I hope that it continues to play out well. And the reason why I say I hope is because we want Bitcoin to be as predictable as possible on the macro scale, because predictability kind of ensures that people feel safe investing in Bitcoin. You don't want unpredictability. Unpredictability is not good. You want actual trends, because trends equals security, and security equals extra investment from retail and corporations, okay? Another thing I want to look at as well is that Bitcoin is likely to get, and this is the chart I probably showed you a few times, this is highly speculative, but on a separate note, okay, if we're looking at, each time we have this kind of bull market support level in each bull market, I'm circling here, the current one's 28.6k. It generally takes us, it took us 420 days to get back above it after dropping below in 2015. It took us 189 days in 2019, and so far it's taken around that 308-day mark, but we've got time here, and we should be breaking above 28.6k at the latest by the end of July. So we would be seeing, if we want to really narrow down the Bitcoin price action, we would be seeing above 28k by the end of July, maybe a little bit later, a little bit earlier. It's kind of speculative. And then we would be seeing above 39k by the start of next year. And then we would be seeing 69k by the end of next year. And then by the end of 2025, we'd be seeing 189k. That's if I wanted to give you as clear as possible a breakdown what's going to happen in the future. Now, obviously, all of this stuff is subject to change, and we can narrow it down as we get further and further along. For example, if we don't end up seeing 39k at the halving, that probably means that this formula is not going to work, and that probably means we can throw out our 189-day prediction. At this point, it's all observations, it's all speculative, and I don't expect it to be right, really at all. I expect it to be a guideline. That's all it is. So you're predicting almost 3 years in the future, all you can really have is a guideline. That's exactly what this is, guys. So thank you for watching. Guys, before we end the video, check out the Bitcoin Exchange. Sign up for the Bitcoin Exchange using my referral link in the description below and receive a 15% trading fee discount for life. This is the best way you can support the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel, by simply signing up to the exchange using my referral link. And you're also helping yourself. You're getting access to an exchange with 5 times lower fees than Binance. I want to quickly give a shout out to my Australian viewers as well. I know that Binance, especially derivatives on the Binance exchange, has been banned in Australia. You're not able to access that anymore. You can still access that on BitGet. So if you're interested in leverage trading, you're Australian, go to BitGet, sign up using my referral link, get exclusive rewards, get access to that discount, and trade at low fees. And I will also mention, guys, that the Crypto Academy, 10-unit course, become a trader. If you want to learn how to trade, this is the place to do it, guys. You can learn how to trade here. All the information is on the website. You can read up about the course. You can read up about the units we offer and what is actually contained within those units. For example, number of slides, the number of videos, number of worksheets, the trading diaries in each unit, and you can see whether it's actually good for you. And then we've got the email address here. You can ask us any questions on this email address there. And then finally, we've got the VIP sale. So this is a 25% discount on the VIP memberships on Telegram. We have a VIP group on Telegram where we trade altcoins 5 times a week, roughly. Should be maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I post altcoin trading signals in there. We've released the results for Q4 and Q1. So that's Q4 last year and Q1 this year. And you can check out those results. You can check out what we trade, and you can go and actually look at the chart and see what we might have got going on there. In terms of a structure and how we executed those trades. If you use a little bit of improvisation, you might be able to do that. But yeah, all the information's there, and 25% discount until the 14th of April. So go ahead and check that out. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.